warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We are from Group 3, consists of Anidya di Vanuresia,
Pramudita, Rahma,
and Rofi. So here we would like to conduct the experiment about esterification. Check it out. Let's go.
So the purpose in this experiment is to synthesize an ester from a carboxylic acid and alcohol. Did you know the aromas of bananas, strawberries, and other fruits are the result of organic chemistry? Esters account for the distinctive odors of many fruits. Many of these ester compounds have pleasant odors. You can synthesize an ester in the lab by heating a carboxylic acid in an alcohol solution containing a small amount of strong acid as a catalyst. The acid that we use in this experiment is salicylic acid, and in this experiment we will react acetic acid and ethanol in the presence of a strong acid catalyst to form the ester ethyl acetate.
For materials, we have sodium carbonate, ethanol, methanol, salicylic acid, concentrated acetic acid, concentrated sulfuric acid, and the last distilled water. For apparatuses, we have test tube rack, wire gauze, tripod, graduated cylinder, watch glass, drop pipette, Pyrex test tube, Bunsen burner, test tube holder, thermometer, spatula, beaker glass, and the last, match. We have to use gloves during the experiment, then let's continue to the procedures. Firstly, 100 ml beaker was filled half full with water. Second, around 2 ml of acetic acid and 20 drops or equal to 1 ml of ethanol was added to the test tube. Then mix it. Next, 3 drops of concentrated sulfuric acid was added and mixed on the test tube. Then the test tube was heated in water bath until the water boiled. Next, the burner was turned off and the test tube was removed from the hot water bath. Then the test tube was cooled. Next, 25 ml of sodium carbonate solution was provided in 100 ml beaker. And the last, the solution in the test tube was added into sodium carbonate solution. Then the ester produced in the reaction will float on the water in the tube. The odor of the ester was noted. Firstly, 100 ml beaker was filled half full with water. Second, around 0.5 gram of salicylic acid and 3 ml of ethanol was added into the test tube, then it mixed. Next, 3 drops of concentrated sulfuric acid was added into the test tube, then it mixed. Then, the tube in water was heated until the water boiled. Next, the burner turned off and the test tube was removed from the hot water bath. Then let the tube cool. And the last, 25 ml of sodium carbonate solution provided in 100 ml beaker. Then The mixture was added into sodium carbonate solution. The ester produced in the reaction will float on the water in the tube. The odor of the ester was noted.
The observation result from procedure A. When 2 ml of acetic acid added to the test tube, the odor was like vinegar. Then 20 drops of ethanol mixed with 2 ml of acetic acid and it is colorless. When 3 drops of concentrated sulfuric acid mixed with the mixture, the color was clear. After boiling the water and the test tube, and when it reached about 80 Celsius degree, the test tube is taken and put until it cools. Then the mixture poured into sodium carbonate. There was some bubble and followed by some white foam. The ester is formed and it is on the surface of the mixture. The odor was like balloon liquid. The carboxylic acid in this experiment was acetic acid and the alcohol is the ethanol. The observation result from the procedure B. When 0.5 gram of salicylic acid mixed with 3 ml of ethanol, they become a solution with clear color. After 3 drops of concentrated sulfuric acid to the tube, the white color of sulfuric acid appears slightly. The tube in water bath boiled for 3 minutes 30 seconds. After the solution cooled, we pour it into the sodium carbonate solution and there was some vapor formed for several seconds. And in the surface of the solution there was something float and it is ester. And the amount of ester is so little. The odor was like flour. The carboxylic acid in this experiment is salicylic acid and the alcohol is ethanol. The concentrated sulfuric acid is the catalyst. Esters are organic molecules of the general form below, where R1 and R2 are any carbon chain. Esters are unique in that they often have strong and pleasant odors. As such, they are often used in fragrance, and many artificial flavorings are in fact esters. Esters are produced by the reaction between alcohol and carboxylic acid. And in this experiment, we conducted 2 procedures. The first is reacting ethanol with acetic acid to give ethyl acetate, and the second is reacting ethanol with salicylic acid to give ethyl salicylate. Sulfuric acid is used as the catalyst in this reaction. Sulfuric acid is a clear, colorless, and odorless liquid. If sulfuric acid makes direct contact with the eyes, it can cause permanent blindness. If ingested, this chemical may cause internal burns, irreversible organ damage, and possibly death. Reacting ethanol with acetic acid to give ethyl acetate is shown below. The reaction is ethanol plus acetic acid is resulting ethyl acetate plus water. And the second, reacting ethanol with salicylic acid to give ethyl salicylate is shown below. The reaction where ethanol plus salicylic acid is resulting ethyl salicylate plus water. The odor of ethyl salicylate from the observation result is like flour and it smells good, and literature state that the odor of ethyl salicylate is wintergreen. The odor of ethyl acetate from the observation result is like balloon liquid, and literature state that the odor of ethyl acetate is nail polish remover. Water molecule is eliminated during esterification reaction, and esterification is reversible reaction.
From our experiment, we can conclude that esterification can synthesis and ester from carboxylic acid and alcohol. Esterification reaction is a conditional relationship that occurs between carboxylic acid or their derivative with alcohol through water solvent, which always produce the product of the reaction in the form of an ester compound. In our experiment, we got two ester. First, ethyl acetate. The smell is like a balloon liquid, and the second is ethyl salicylate. The smell is like a flower. Based on the literature states that the odor is wintergreen.
So that's all our experiment, and thank you for watching. See you.